have seen before. We're being told by the National Weather Service, of course, Hurricane Irma topping our look at the headlines this morning. The storm made landfall overnight in Cuba as a Cat 5. It's currently hammering both Cuba and the Bahamas. The path shifted slightly to the west, meaning Florida's West Coast residents could face a more direct hit than they originally thought. Al and Dylan will have much more on that in just a few moments.
In Mexico, residents are recovering this morning after a different hurricane made landfall there. Hurricane Katia roared ashore as a Category 1 storm. It's a 1-2 punch for residents after Friday's morning's earthquake, and now the hurricane. At least 61 people have been killed throughout the country.
And the D.C. classroom got a surprise visitor on Friday when former President Barack Obama stopped by. The high school students at McKinley Tech were settling into a new year of classes when the former president stopped by to welcome and encourage them. The former president and First Lady made frequent visits to schools around the world while in the White House. But of course, we start with Hurricane Irma this half hour as the Category 4 storm sets its sights on the Sunshine State. Let's go back to Al. He is in Fort Myers. Al, good morning.
Good morning, guys. And it really belies what's coming to be on this beach, because in 24 hours, this is going to be a lot different scene. Give you the coordinates and what's going on with Irma right now. Currently, still a Category 4 storm, but just barely below a 5. It currently has 155 mile per hour winds. It is moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. We'll get an update coming up at 8 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center. And right now, let's look at the winds, give you an idea of the future cast of the winds. You can see they first hit over 80 miles per hour Key West, Marathon Key, and then continue to make their way along the western coast of Florida, finally making landfall sometime in the afternoon. You can see Miami at 55 miles per hour, Marco Island 105, and then they continue to make their way up and on into the state of Florida. The surge, of course, also going to be a big concern. That's where the most deaths occur. We're looking at surges anywhere from 3 to 12 feet before it's all over. And in fact, the new surge graphic map that comes in from the National Hurricane Center shows that from basically Naples all the way down to the Everglades, 9 feet or more, that's where the heaviest surge is going to be above ground. So guys, the rainfall amounts 5 to 15 inches in some spots. It's a lot going on, and the problem with this state, for the state of Florida, is this isn't a quick mover. This is going to be on the ground causing problems for about 24 hours, and during that period of time, the threat for tornadoes will increase greatly, especially here in southern Florida. Craig?
Hey, Al, really quickly, I know initially there had been some thinking that as the storm passed over Cuba, it might get weakened a bit. Is that no longer the case?
That normally is the case. However, between Cuba and here in southern Florida, there's a swath of 90-degree, almost 90-degree water temperatures. So I would not be surprised if this doesn't re-strengthen and possibly become a 5 again. It is not out of the question.
All right, Al Roker there for us there in Fort Myers. Al, thanks.
Florida's world-famous theme parks are shutting down ahead of Hurricane Irma. NBC's Katie Beck is outside of Disney World with that part of the story. Katie, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it is exceptionally rare for Walt Disney World to close its doors. In fact, this is only the 5th time since the resort opened in 1971 that they have done so. And it is not just Walt Disney World, it is Universal Studios and SeaWorld will both be closed on Sunday and Monday while the worst of Irma is headed through Orlando. They simply say that park goers are not safe under these conditions and they feel it necessary to close the attractions. Now, as for hotels in Orlando, they remain open and full of evacuees at this point. Disney has said if reservations need to be canceled or rescheduled, there will be no fees for that. But getting out of Orlando could be tricky because the airports here are closing at 5 today and also will remain closed through the duration of the storm. Perhaps the only silver lining for Disney is that this time of year, between Labor Day and October 1st, is the slowest travel period here at the theme park throughout the whole year. So they at least are not having this hit during the busy season. Guys?
Yes, that is true. Katie, thank you.
Dylan Dryer's in Palm Beach this morning with a look at the rest of the country's forecast. Dylan, in terms of how it looks there now versus how it looked when you initially got there.
Well, the sun's up now, and you can actually see sunrise here, and the water has certainly gotten a lot rougher since we visited this spot yesterday. So the winds are picking up. The air is very, very humid. So you know that the atmosphere is just primed for the torrential downpours we're going to see once this storm gets here. So things are